Hello, welcome to Big Red Journeys. I'm your host, Big Red, and on today's journey, we're going to be checking out the Birch Aquarium here. So excited. This is one of my favorite places to go to. I've been coming here for many, many years since I was a little one, so this is something that's very exciting for me. We're going to go inside. There's some new exhibits to check out, new renovations that have occurred that have just recently opened up. So we're going to do a whole exploration of the entire aquarium and have a good time here. So if you care to follow me on this journey, let's go. We are here on the first day of Shark Summer. So this is filmed on July 5th, and you can see there's a emphasis on the sharks, which I love. There's a brand new exhibit that just opened up here, the Living Seas. It pretty much takes over the whole north side of the aquarium. It's pretty much a refresh, reimagined version of the aquarium that was on that side. And it's really gonna focus on the Pacific, Northwest Pacific, then we're going to go into central coastal California, and then to the tropical Pacific. There's a new exhibit about the oarfish, the one that was washed up here back in last year during the summer, and a few other new things here. And of course there is the little blue penguins that we have to check out. Those guys are so cute. And there's one by the name of Red, who is my favorite, and we'll go say hi to him too. But overall, we're gonna have a great time here, so let's go inside and check it out. Well, if you've been a fan of my channel for a while, you know I am a fan of Scavenger Hunt, and there is one here. To find all the wooden sea stars and claim your prize, just scan the QR code, and we're about to do that right now. It's a fill in the blank kind of a thing, and it looks like we have about 10 different ones to fill out here, and then find them all, click submit to learn how to claim your prize. Well, we'll do that as we go. Looks like they do have a laughing kookaburra here. He is out taking a little siesta. He'll be back soon according to this, but there is a meet and greet at 12:30 with some reptiles. And I do know they have some some bearded dragons, some local snakes as well too, but unfortunately we're here a little bit past that, so we're not going to get to catch the meet and greets here. But we're still, the penguin keeper talk is going to be around here. I think we can still catch the sea dragon feeding, and there's a keeper talk about that as well too. But yeah, we're still going to have a great time here. There is a guest services to our right hand side, and of course before we leave we have to go through a gift shop. But let us go through the jaws of this great white shark here. A couple sharks over there. There's a thresher shark up there. Looks like a mako, a great white as well too there. Ooh, that looks like it could be a megalodon jaw. That's pretty cool. The way the aquarium is split up, it's mainly kind of like, here is your fork in the road, the atrium. To the left hand side, it's going to have the penguins and some of the art installations. Over on the right hand side has the new Living Seas gallery. That's going to be the main portion of the aquarium, as well as the large pool is going to be in there, the kelp forest pool. You go out through these doors, and that is going to be your tide pool area, which you can actually touch some of the creatures that are inside the tide pool area. They got urchins, sea hares, cucumbers. There's a couple different tide pool stations here. 3 main ones, the larger one right over there. There are volunteers and docents around to help answer any questions you may have here. We got things there. Oh, there's a sea cucumber right over there. Some sort of snail, top turban snail. Oh, we even have a few fish in here as well too. Looks like there is an opal swimming around. You can tell because at the very top on its dorsal fin has a little white speck, like a little opal eye. Some more anemones over here, some purple sea urchins in the back over there. Oh, there's one up closer. Hey, buddy. Got some green anemones here you can touch. Got some, oh, there's a chitin right over there. There's gonna be the little larger of the tide pools. These are gonna have, oh look, our California state fish, the Garibaldi. They are a damselfish and highly, highly territorial. The juveniles are the ones that have the purple markings on them. Obviously these are full grown adults here, but they are the state fish of California, and they look very beautiful. So make sure you don't harm these guys, because you can get some hefty fines by doing so. And you can touch it. We do a scientific touch of just 1 or 2 fingers and gently touching the creature. Don't squish it, just kind of, and you'll see that even though it looks spiky, it's really soft. So he looks worse than what he really is. And then of course one of the things that they can do is, if they find themselves in real trouble, is that they can actually inject about their internal organs. They can actually eject them on the outside by half of their internal organs, so then the predator will potentially eat that particular part of the organ, because they can regenerate themselves. So that's their last ditch defense. Outside of that, they are covered in a slime and a mucus. And of course, they look really crazy. We have here, we got a couple sea urchins right over here. Now, of course, they are, again, be careful on how you touch them. And you can feel them. If you hold your finger right over there, you actually feel that they are kind of, they accumulate. They were like, hey, what the heck is touching me over here, as a form of self-defense. Obviously, you don't want to pound your hand over because then you risk your getting really injured. But as long as you're nice and gentle and just touch them from the top, they'll be fine. Look at the beautiful anemone right over here, nice and open. And you can see how when we do scientific touch of 2 fingers, so he's got the nematocysts, which are essentially attacking my finger, right, as I go. That is a form of protection. Now, my skin is too thick for the anemone to cause any sort of damage. To smaller fish or smaller animal, sure, potentially, but that is why you have symbiotic relationships like this with other fish who make their homes inside the anemone. The anemone gives them protection with their stinging cells, and the fish provided food that when they go out hunting and bring food in, the mouth of the stomach of the anemone is on the inside, so it can absorb all the droppings of the fish. Look at this, there's another little touch pool over here as well too. Got some sea stars, and oh, look at this, we got a horned shark mermaid purse. You can always tell because of the spiralization on it as well. Look at that, so cool how this comes out. And yeah, probably not anymore because it floats, so that means it's full of air. But baby shark would have developed inside this right over here. Got a sea star over here too. There you go, and you can see if I lift up his legs, he has multiple. He's got the 5 legs, but of course multiple tube feet, and that helps him actually moves and propels himself on the ground, walking in the water. We're gonna go ahead and say hello to her. So keep it towards the lower portion of her body, and going from her 2 back dorsal fins all the way to the back up. I disturbed her a little bit, she didn't like that. And of course, as you can see, there are the 2 horns right over there on her dorsal fins. Definitely don't want to get stung by those. And that is what gives the shark its name. And if we go this way, we want to make it, if we touch this way, it's relatively smooth on the shark, but we were to take our fingers and go the opposite way, that would be a no-no, because it actually would feel like kind of like a sandpaper, and that's because of the denticles of a shark's skin. Gives it kind of like a sandpapery feel, kind of like how a cat's tongue acts kind of sandpapery. Very similar effect, similar feel. Oh, look at that. The horned shark, she is out and about right now. So you get a beautiful view of what she looks like. And don't be worried if you ever see her out in the wild, except for her horns. But she has a special jaw. Doesn't have the sharp teeth like you would think a shark would. It's a specialized jaw for crunching on clams and shells and other types of creatures of that. This right here, this is a $1 million view. Well, actually, this is La Jolla, so it's more of a $10 million view. Got La Jolla Shores right over there. Continue on a little bit further, La Jolla Cove. You got the Seal Rookery as well over there, children's pool. It's definitely a busy 4th of July weekend. That beach is covered pretty much. But then you have a wonderful view here of the Scripps Pier. And yes, the Scripps is in Scripps Institute, which is what's connected here to the aquarium. Lots of scientific research is done on that pier. You can see the scientific station at the very end over there. So these are the wooden sea stars that we were looking for, number 7. And the question had to do with talking about adaptations for some of the tidepool creatures. Since the answering is like short form, give a couple of adaptation examples. They ask you to talk with some of the volunteers or look around with some of the science. We're going to take it and we're going to answer some of these questions as we go. But obviously, we're not going to answer all of them. That defeats the whole purpose of the scavenger hunt for you guys. And then, but we will show you what our prize is at the end. So question number 7 was, what is an adaptation that helps these animals survive in tide pools? So a good example would be, like we mentioned, the sea anemone. It has the ability to absorb moisture, kind of close up moisture inside of itself, so that if it had a low tide, it wouldn't dry out. That's a great adaptation. But now that we're done with the tide pool, let's check in on the new exhibit here, the Adam R. Scripps Living Seas Gallery. Like I said, this is going to be talking about the ecosystems of the Pacific, going from the Pacific Northwest, the coastal California area, and then the Pacifics of the tropical areas. So, what we got here? We're starting off with sea nettles. Look at that. Here's some good sized sea nettles too. And just like with all jellies, they don't technically swim, they undulate. They create that little vibrating motion, so they really can't really steer themselves too well. They're at the mercy of the ocean. We're going to start off here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's going to cover the areas of, like, you know, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. Love the little light show that happened, right? Well, not really light show, but they're talking, got projection right here on this wonderful wall. Rockfish of some sort, I think, swimming by. How you doing, buddy? I did see a GPO. I think that's a GPO coming out right there. Yep, one of my favorite of all marine creatures, the giant Pacific octopus. Oh, so let's see, here we got a sunflower sea star. Oh, yeah, there's a sunflower sea star all the way in the back over there. Always can tell these guys because of how many of the arms that they have there. Like radiating like a sunflower, like the sun. Speaking of radiating like the sun, these two beautiful creatures here, wolfies, wolf eels. They do have humanoid looking kind of faces, but they are indeed fish. They are eels. You know what? I'm going to call these guys Stadler and Waldorf. Pretty cool. They got these interactive things. Oh, so they're touchscreens of what's in here now. So we got, ooh, tiger rockfish. Let's talk a little bit about the tiger rockfish. That is what that guy is right over there. Pretty cool. Look at wolf eels there. Very nice. This is pretty cool. I like this. Here in the surf zone, got some got some green sea urchins. Some what are those called again? Canary rockfishes. The orangey colored ones over there. Ooh, looks like some red abalone up there. A few sea stars of sorts. Some sea slugs. Look at this. A couple pair of rockfishes here. This one in particular is a tiger rockfish, and you can see how he gets his name. The beautiful orange and black striations. Some bat stars as well too. You can always tell the bat stars because how sea stars always have their arms are, they don't really have like the little tuft of skin right over there in between them. Kind of like how a bat wing is, hence the name why it's called a bat star. Oh, here we go. This is one of the guys that I absolutely love. The GPO, the giant Pacific octopus. And it has a brand new enclosure over here. And there he is. Oh, he is a male. That's they only live for about a few years. This guy in captivity about 3 to 5, in the wild 2 to 3, give or take. GPOs are obviously the largest of all the octopus out there. But you can see one thing, it's going through the process of senescence, which essentially means, unfortunately, he's on the end of his life. You can see that bald spot right there on his crown. I forget what that particular part of the body is called. But they start to discolor. They don't get that vibrant orangey red color anymore. Parts of their body starts to waste away. They don't really eat as much, if at all. So unfortunately, this guy looks like he's on the tail end of his life here. But yeah, you know, that very short life that octopus live in general. They do reproduce one time only. The male will produce sperm one time. The female will produce the eggs one time. They'll mate one time, and then shortly after birth, they start this process here, senescence, and die off, and let their babies hopefully repopulate. And then here is a small example of an octopus's garden. So you may have heard the song of the Beatles, Octopus's Garden. Well, it's because since they eat lots of clams and shells and they tend to be in the same home, what they'll do is that they'll bring their prey home, eat it, and spit out the shells, and then they'll litter the bottom of the seafloor, and that's why they call it an octopus's garden. One of the cutest guys out there with one of the most insulting names, the lumpsuckers. And then there's a Pacific spiny lumpsucker. Oh, look at those guys. Look at those guys on top of that abalone shell. Look how cute they are. Absolutely amazing. There's a few, oh, there's one right over here next to this bed of strawberry anemones. Got some scallops around as well too. These guys are so cute, and this, honestly, this is about as big as they get. The size of like a thumb, essentially. Look at this. Mussels and clams all hanging around this barge piece right over there. Look at this. It's a little baby horn shark. Look at how very small it is. There's my finger for comparison in size. My goodness. And you can see how its coloration helps as well too with the grays, the browns. Blends in pretty well with the rock. Next up here is the coastal California. So now we're going to talk a little bit more of what's in our backyard here in California and San Diego. Ooh, got some, I think these are black sea nettles. Yes, they are. They got a little bit more of a purple hinge to them. But the light also kind of really brings out the colors. Very beautiful. And it's not just dirty water. Believe it or not, there's a lot of zooplankton, phytoplankton, and other little creatures in here as well too. That's actually what these jellyfish are eating. So this is actually mostly food for them. Got some moon jellies, very popular jellyfish, very easy to keep and maintain. Ooh, some lion's manes over here. So-called lion's mane because of the fibers of their bell. Looks like that of a lion's mane. You can see how to get the name right. Some California spiny lobsters, but this one in particular is a female because look at the clutch of eggs she has underneath there. Oh, she's protecting them there. You got her little swimmerettes, which are the little, for lack of a better word, fins. They kind of hold on to them like extra little arms. She's tending to the eggs and with her back legs, and you can see how she's hunched over to protect them from these fish or any other potential predators trying to nip an egg or two from the backside. And look at that little crab over there, a sheep crab as well too. Oh look, even the lobster behind it is pregnant as well too. She has her eggs. Well, there's a green moray eel right over there. But we have some Garibaldis that stay fish, but if you look closely, they do have some purplish to them. So these guys are still in the juvenile stage. Once they lose the purple, that's when they're fully grown adults. Like there's a full grown adult I can see right there in the rock portion. But this guy right over here still has purple. This guy still has the purple and blue, you can see. So those are still juvenile. Got some senoritas over here, and these were called senoritas because of a very famous brand of cigars. And the little tail ends right there, it looks like a ring on the end of the tail. It looks like the little ring that you get at the end of a cigar where you hold it right there. So, and of course they are long tubular cigar shaped, so that's why they call them senoritas. And there she is, the female sheep's head. There should be a large male and a few more females in the giant aquarium that we'll check it out. But the fun fact I always like to mention about these guys is that technically all sheep's head are female, but when they do need a male, they actually have the ability to change their sexes for the population. So they'll usually dedicate 1 or 2 females to convert over to male for population. The submarine, I like how what they're doing with the exhibit is that they're kind of essentially dividing up the areas into particular regions underwater. Like the submarine canyon is out here in La Jolla Shores. It goes down to about 600, 700 feet. I've dove it, not to that far, but obviously I've dove in the canyon before right off of La Jolla Shores. So I like the nomenclature here. Got some more spiny. These guys are definitely smaller, and that guy might be large enough to eat, but these guys are definitely still juvenile. The smaller ones are more plentiful, but the older ones, like this big bad boy right over here, they reproduce bigger. So even though they have technically more meat to them, because obviously they are of a larger size, they actually are, it's better for us to not eat them and just have them keep reproducing, because they'll actually produce more eggs, both male and females. But the larger ones, let them be. It's the younger guys, hate to say, those are the ones that we need to be eating if we really want lobster. Really cool whale fall. Whale fall, as you may think, is when essentially a whale has died and usually its body floats up to the surface. Some of the gulls, waterfowl, sharks, other fish eat as much as they can, and then eventually the whale does fall down to the seafloor till other creatures have the ability to eat them. Oh, this is pretty cool. As we walk into the main large tank over there, they got this projection of free divers, and you kind of get the sound of like you actually are being submerged underwater. You can hear the bubbles popping. The large giant kelp forest tank that they have here. Very, very large black sea bass right up there. I do see a moray eel right over there. Oh, there's a Garibaldi. Oh, there's the male sheephead right over there in the back. You can see he's the one that's got the black, red, black. That is the male coloration, and they get relatively large. That's a really big size male. Got a some sort of grouper. Is that a broomtail or a potato grouper? Broomtail. It is a broomtail grouper back over there. There are every so often that a female can turn into a male genetically, but still look female-wise, and those are what are called sneaker males. So that they look like a female in coloration and everything, but they'll still reproduce with the females because they actually do have reproductive bodies of that like a male. Couple sharks right over there. Got the horn shark, And that is definitely a full-size version of the horn shark that we've been seeing today. Next to a swell shark, one right there, one over there, and they do get their name because they can essentially, in cases of defense, they can inhale, for lack of a better word, water and make their size much, much larger and make them look bigger to a potential predator. There's a better view of that male sheephead. And there is our wonderful loggerhead turtle who has made residence here at the aquarium for several years. She was the victim of, unfortunately, she did have a deformity in her shell and her back fins, legs are she's paralyzed on the backside, so she can only swim using the front portion of it, and she gets around pretty well. But the aquarium team here has kept her very nice and healthy all these years. And next up is the tropical Pacific. So we're going to be talking about the creatures of the little warmer waters of the Pacific. Some here, like in Mexico, you know, South America, Central America, and then some like in the Pacific, such as like Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, those types of waters as well too. Hawaii, of course. I do see some damselfish here. I see some triggerfish. I see a parrotfish over there. I do see a spotted moray eel over here inside that little rock. So that one in particular is actually called a honeycomb moray. Got some small little portholes here that have various little creatures inside. This one, a weedy scorpion fish. Little guy right over there. A long-nosed hawk fish. Oh, that's a little cutie. A warty frogfish. These guys, they don't really swim around. They actually use those little front flippers to kind of push and walk themselves around. Hence why they call it frogfish. They kind of got a little bit of a jumpy and wartiness to them. There's also right next to a little sea star as well too. Look at that. And some alligator pipefish. There's a big guy right over there. How you doing, buddy? Dangerous reef. And really it's because of this guy right over here. Very beautiful, but unfortunately very invasive and dangerous. The lionfish, of course, it does have its venomous spines on its dorsal side. Looks beautiful, was a very popular tropical fancy aquarium fish in the 70s and 80s, but unfortunately it has become a very invasive species to many, many creatures in the wild because people would start to dump them out, and they were dumped in areas in which lionfish were not native to, and because they don't really have any true predators because of their venomous spines, they would actually eat small species of fish as well as the eggs and small larvae of fish, so that they were decimating huge populations of fish and animals out there. So, which is why there's actually a large effort, especially like in Florida and some other Pacific areas, to actually hunt and eat lionfish. I take you into a dimension, sight and sound. We are entering the twilight zone with lots of Japanese spider crabs here. So the twilight zone is obviously one of the areas in which we're going to get to a point that light is hard to reach down. Really deep areas of the ocean floor.
Hello, clownfish.
And look at these guys. These guys are huge. These spider crabs can get humongous in the width from one part of their legs to the other. Something new, I was just wondering what the heck was there. There's these little spots on the carpet. If you stand on them, there's a little speaker right above your head, and you can hear like clicking noises and miscellaneous things like that that showcase like oh, there it's going right there. You can kind of hear it. Underwater sounds that microphones have picked up. There's a few of them right here. That's kind of cool. This one apparently is a sergeant major snapping his teeth if we stand on here. Another one here, an ambon damsel, makes a very unique whooping sound. Wow. Convex mirror here, or convex window. Ooh, and again with the cool sounds coming off from the speaker there. You do really feel like you're kind of underwater here because of the convex shape of it. And some black light in here too, really shows off the colors of a lot of these fish. Really beautiful. This is a pretty cool little exhibit about creatures that live in the mangroves, kind of swampy water areas here. There is an epaulet shark somewhere over here. We'll see if we can find it. There's some archer fish. Oh, look at this, a longhorn. You can see how it gets his name appropriately named, right? Hey, buddy. Oh, there's the epaulet shark, right below. Look at that. And that will do it for this particular side of the aquarium. And that, like I said, that pretty much, just to kind of recap, that took over pretty much this whole portion of the aquarium. It's a big loop around. So now we pretty much can go to the other side of the aquarium over here, where there's some more exhibits. Left-hand side is going to have the Seadragons. The little tiny blues are going to be over that way. But we're going to go over to the right-hand side and talk about one of the newer exhibits, oarfish. Recently, back in last year, there was an oarfish that ended up actually going to the surface, and scientists of Scripps and UCSD were able to bring it back, study it, and everything about that. So they have it here preserved on display for us to check out. So very, very exciting. Some people call it the doomsday fish because it has a sense to make itself known when acts of doom or peril like earthquakes happen. So it's been colloquially named the doomsday fish. But yeah, no, it's just a very deep diving fish that's very hard for us to see, because the only way for us to reach the depths that it's normally is at would be in one of those submersible, like the ROVs and submersibles. But even then, that's a huge ocean to try to find one fish. So here we have the room with the oarfish. So this oarfish recently was found in 2024, and just actually about what, 8-9 months ago. Measures 11 feet 7.5 inches. You can see this is what it looks like in its preservation state, and obviously it would have had the very long little dorsal fin hair coming out right there in red. Obviously it's been discolored after being in the formaldehyde. But look at this, crazy. That's what it would have looked like in its full splendor and beauty. Called King of the Heron. And King of the Salmon, the ribbon fish. This one was found in Mission Beach here in San Diego in late 1968. So this one, and this is a smaller version of one of them right here. This is only about 4 feet long, 5 feet long maybe. But they can get relatively large. But one thing that these creatures probably were in charge of, or responsible for, was some of the myths of sea creatures. So obviously old-timey sailors, when they were first crossing, would come across creatures that look like things from the Loch Ness Monster, you know, dragons, large creatures that look like they could swallow a man whole. Obviously long sea shanties and stories, but most likely were caused by things from anywhere from whales, sea lions, large fish like this, oarfish, and so forth. Oh, we came across another star here. This one is number 5 on the back wall here of the Oarfish exhibit. And its question is, check out these 2 specimens of deep sea fish from the Scripps Oceanography collections. The oarfish washed up on our beach in 2024. What year was the king of the salmon found in Mission Beach? Well, there's the king of the salmon. And let's see, late 1968. There you go. So we'll answer that question, and that will be the last one I'm going to show you. But then we'll still show you what the prize is at the very end. A short exhibit right there about the oarfish, but we're going to walk into Embodied Pacific Ocean Unseen. Here's a beautiful map talking about the ocean that's just off of our shore here. This is where we're at, right over here in Scripps Canyon. So you can see how it slopes off in steps, going down all the way into the deepest part of our coast, which isn't that far off, honestly. There's Santa Catalina Island, all the Channel Islands right over here. San Clemente, that's the closest one to us. You got Santa Barbara, Santa Nicolas. You got the Cortez's Bank over here. It's pretty cool. But here we are, Embodied Pacific Ocean Unseen. This is going to be more of an exhibit that has more of an artsy feel to it. Very interactive as well too. Super Radiance Embodying Earth. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's one of those like immersive art installations where you look at the walls and you got the sound of something coming to you. I'll be quiet here and let's listen in. Okay, so apparently this is one exhibit experiment in action. Apparently what happened is that they're doing a test about synthesizing seaweed, apparently inside this bench. You can really tell, but apparently there's like little seedlings of seaweed, and this bench is on a rocker, and supposedly the hypothesis is that the rocking motion will help synthesize these seaweed faster or something along those lines. So we're going to be a part of science right now. We're going to help this seaweed oh, it does rock. Okay, yeah, it rocks. So we're going to help synthesize some seaweed. Okay. Is it synthesized yet? How much longer do I have to do this for?
6.5 hours later.
It's not very comfortable. Okay, I'm done doing science for today. Of course, we also must give respect to the indigenous peoples of this area, the Kumeyaay. And this is a raft made out of reeds and plants, a hakwayo, probably I'm mispronouncing that, but it's a traditional kind of like raft canoe that the Kumeyaay people would use when they were going out onto the water for fishing. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is a video that talks about the RP Flip, which was a research vessel that was around for about, I think like 30 or 40 years. And as you can see in this video, it looks a little weird, but that's because they're actually flipping the vessel on its side. Look at that. It was actually so it can actually go out and then it flips over just like that. You see that? So that's how it looks like when it goes out actually into the ocean, or floating out, and then it goes and fills its ballast just like that, fills its ballast, and then essentially like a pendulum goes this way, and then only the top portion floats out. And it's pretty cool because I've seen the inside, not personally myself, but the living quarters and all the stations and everything, they're built in such a way that they're bolted down so they can actually kind of move like in 90 degrees. So if it's like, say for example, there's a table right here this way, when it floats up, it can actually lock up into place like this, or when it's sailing, and then when it's needed to be used, it locks into place like this. Bathrooms, they have toilets that are both at two 90-degree angles, so there'd be like one floating here and one floating here, so depending on which way the ship is, you can actually use it properly. Such a cool vessel, and it's a research vessel. Hey, we're talking about the two different types of planktons. We got zooplanktons, which are pretty much the animal version, tiny animals, is what it says there, of plankton, and then phytoplankton, which are going to be the plant-like versions of them. So think of the algae. That's really what they are. And then when you think of plankton from SpongeBob, he's a zooplankton. Officially, he is a zooplankton. This section is talking about coral reefs. So you have, and actually more specifically about a healthy and unhealthy reef, a bleach reef. This here is a healthy reef, beautiful, colorful, full of vibrancy, full of life. As you can see here, the corals are very full of, full of life, full of color. And of course, coral is actually made of thousands upon various microorganisms. So it's not just one particular creature, it's actually a colony of multiple creatures to make up that specific coral, both soft and hard corals. And then you have what is called a bleached reef, or an unhealthy reef, or a dead reef. And you see how all the color is gone, the coral is dead, all the polyps are no longer there. They're just shells of their former selves. Okay, it's 3:15. You know what that means? There is a keeper talk happening about the little blue penguins. We're going to be heading out over here. And yep, I hear them talking. So let's learn a little bit about these little blue cuddly creatures.
Adapted themselves to
yep, perfect. Oh, they are out and about. Good, good, good.
Our little blue penguins 101. But our little blue penguins are one of 18 species of penguins around the world. And what we have are the tiniest species. So as you may have seen on some of our parts of the exhibit, they are approximately the size of a California burrito. They're exquisitely tiny. And compared to some of our larger penguins, like the emperor penguins in other parts of the world, they really are quite small. Environment that is much colder, but these little blue penguins, they are found off of Australia, southern Australia coast, and San Diego coast is a similar environment to that as in Australia. Then to take quick health checks and make sure that every penguin is eating enough food, or if they're not eating, they'll make a note of that as well. So there's another thing happening that we might be noticing with our penguins. They do have several calls that they make The most common one that we hear a lot here is something called a contact call. And if we did have the opportunity to watch them feed this afternoon, that is what they would be doing after feeding. They do consume a lot of food on a daily basis. They consume around 20% of their body weight in a single day.
Those cute little blue penguins. Love those guys. But we're gonna go step outside here into the deck area. They do have a little bit of a shark exploration station going on for the shark summer. This is of course where the sharks and the rays are going to be at. We have this Riveropolis here where you can build yourself a little raft of, I'm going to show you real quick here. People can take wooden materials and cork and stuff like that and put it at the very top and see how well they did on their design. Some giant Lego style pieces. I don't know what, it's some building design things. I don't know what this is all about. But I do know, I wish I had a drone to tell you, but you can take a look at the floor. Different tapes, it goes from lighter to darker. This is actually an accurate representation of the La Jolla Canyon right out this area here. Obviously that would be like the shore, the sand beach area, shallows, and then going deeper and deeper into the darker regions of the submarine canyon over here. There is some arts and crafts that could be done if you so choose, but that isn't here all the time. That's just here for the summer of the shark that they got going on here at the aquarium. All right, so the arts and crafts that they have here, we can make ourselves our own little shark egg, like that of a horn shark or a swell shark, which is pretty cool. Nice little free activity. I didn't want to color because the crayons look like they had better days, but I'll take this home. That was a nice little craft. It's completely free to do. We're gonna go into the Sharks and Ray exhibit since we're out here. The Riveropolis, is open until 6 o'clock. So a lot of this outdoor stuff does close a little bit earlier too as well. So if you wanna get this done, make sure you do this before the aquarium closes because this may not be out here towards the end of the day. Okay, so we're gonna, we tranked it. There we go, it's tranked. And then we're gonna turn it on and then we're gonna tear it out. SR 1.14.
You know your scientific method.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tear it out there, and then we're gonna. Well, we need to put it in its hypnotic state.
Yes.
There we go. There we go, hypnotic state, and then we put
already
it
an
there.
expert.
Yes, very much too. Very much. Sana. Okay, and we rate it about 13.4875.
Do you want to write that down on your board over there?
He keeps. There we go. So we have it at 13.75. Okay, 13.75.
And then we have a tape measure here if you want to take the length of him from snout to tail.
Snout to tail, we're going to go where the ampullae of Lorenzini are right there in the middle.
Centimeters, that's the scientific method.
Oh boy. And we are in anatomical view, so we're good. And then to the middle. Are we doing top or are we doing top? Okay, well, we'll see. But technically,
what does the scientist think?
We'll go average it out. 97. 97 across, lengthwise there. Okay.
And then the girth, you got to wrap around him.
Of course. Let's see some of the widest.
His pectoral fins.
Okay, those are his widest point right there. Yep. So let's go like armpit to armpit.
There you go.
Okay, buddy, excuse me. We're doing this. Close enough. It's like trying on a jacket at Men's Warehouse.
What do we got on this?
We have about an 81.5.
Nice healthy shark.
Nice healthy.
Say so.
It had a couple seals on the way in. There we go. Lovely.
Good job.
And what we're going to do is we're going to give it the anti-tranquilizer now.
Yes.
And then we're going to put it into the...
and now he's awake.
Now he's awake again, but he's sedated, and we're going to let him swim around for a little bit until he gets acclimated. And put one of those little water hoses they put in the mouth for the gills. And there we go.
Awesome.
Now that I am a certified vet of sharks, I can examine these particular sharks here in the Shark and Ray exhibit, including this very large grouper, which is not a shark at all, but it's in here. Oh, but that's a shark right there. That's a leopard shark. Very common in the Pacific waters here off California. Oh, and a very large, is that a pelagic ray? Got a couple batteries there. There's a leopard shark once more. Oh, so it looks like we got a broomtail grouper. That's with the larger ones over there. But there is a black sea bass right there that you can see. Oh, wow. That leopard shark came in hot. The leopard sharks, they get pretty big. They can get up to about 6 feet long, but they are strictly just bottom feeders, crustaceans, small fish, clams, whatnot. They may eat a toe or two if you're out snorkeling, but that'd be about the most they would do to you. This croaker is just having a good old time being in front of the camera, aren't you, buddy? A couple angel sharks as well too. Next to this halibut over here, there's one. Oh, shovel-nosed guitarfish passing by. And there's another angel shark hanging around next to those rings over there next to that rock. You can kind of, very well camouflaged. I mean, look at the coloration. It's even exactly like the color of the sand. Let's go check out the sea dragons and seahorses, one of my favorite creatures here. This has been around actually for a few years now, so nothing new here that I haven't seen in a while. I love the little black light that they put in here to really showcase some of the lights in here.
These sea dragons are closely related to pipefish and seahorses. They are found in the waters of southern Australia, and that is one of the regions that we know where they live. They're not very common everywhere else, so it's really a treat to have them here with us. There are 3 types of sea dragons. There is the weedy dragon, which we have right here on this exhibit, and there is the leafy dragon. We do have a picture of the leafy dragon over here. They look quite similar, but just more leafy. And then recently, I believe in 2015, the ruby sea dragon was discovered. There's still a lot of research.
Another extension of the Sea Dragons and Seahorses exhibit. Here we have some lined seahorses. Oh, there's one right over here. Doing what they do best, which is not really swimming very well. They do have a very small dorsal fin that you can see on the backside, but that is about it. They're pretty much at the mercy of the water when it comes to swimming around, which is why they use that prehensile tail very long to hold themselves onto things. There's a long snout seahorse over there. You can see his coloration really blends in very well with the coral. Look, there's one right over there. I totally missed him, man. Look how bright, beautiful yellow. Blends in so well. This little video here talks about the mating of a seahorse. As we probably know, females are the ones who have the eggs. Males, of course, produce the sperm. Essentially what happens is that after the eggs are fertilized in the female, they get transferred to the male, and then he essentially keeps the eggs inside his specialized pouch or abdomen right over there until he's ready to give birth live, just like this one is doing right now. And they give birth to quite a few of them. Obviously the seahorses, they have to, just like with a lot of creatures in the wild, they have to give birth to hundreds upon thousands of little small ones, because obviously the success rate of just one is very, very low. So they have to, help out the chances as best as they can. Oh, look at that, some baby seahorses. These are fresh from the hatchery. Look how small these little guys are. Look at these guys. So after we finished the scavenger hunt, it told us to go to the research station here at the penguin encounter, which is, you can see there's the girl right over there, where they usually have one of the employees or volunteers talking about the penguins. And then you get to choose, and we were able to get one of each, these cool nifty bookmarks. One of them has sharks and rays on it, and this one has the blue penguins right here. Very cool, very nice. Nice little souvenir for the day, and again, that was completely free. Obviously, it was meant mainly for the kids so that they do some little edutainment of themselves here. But you know me, I'm a big kid at heart, so I had to do scavenger hunts like this, which I love to do. So there's our prize, is a bookmark to take home. So now I don't have to spend money at the souvenir shop. So as you walk out into the penguin, I didn't really make notice of this one, but they have a little disco ball and some funky music playing, and then they have some projections of penguins playing on the wall there. But what I thought was really, really cool is that it's hard to tell on camera, but each of the little mirror sections are actual fish. Look at that, and then how they reflect onto the mirror on the wall is fish shaped. I didn't notice that, it's so cool. Of course, we have to end our day at the gift shop like any good journey does. And this place has a good amount of gifts to look at. Plushies, toys, anything for the little marine biologists in training. Got squids, giant rays, sharks, penguins, leopard sharks. Got some harbor seals here, some sharks. Oh, and I will admit this is actually pretty cute. A seahorse, and got the little baby still in the pouch. That is cute. Here's some Birch Aquarium at Scripps UC San Diego hoodies. Oh, here's a shirt I may need to get. Got the little blue surfing, the Birch Aquarium Scripps San Diego, and one on the chest right there. That's cute. That's a cute shirt. There's a pretty cool hoodie. Nothing on the back, but it does have some research vessels on the sleeves. Got some mugs, of course. T-shirt here. Oh, that's cool. It's like the beach scene right there inside the shark. Ooh, a beer cup or stein, or glass, I should say, with a shark tooth embedded into it. Some shot glasses as well. Ooh, Geotaku style shirts. This is really nice with the sea dragons. That's really cool. I like that. One with an octopus as well. You can get a tote bag or the hat. I've always been a big fan of the Geotakus. The old Japanese style of art, like this gentleman here, where they take the creature, the specimen, cover it in paint, and they put the paper on top of the specimen in whatever pose it's at, and then carefully peel the paper back off and get the imprint of the creature on there. And it's a very beautiful style. Well, that's actually pretty cool. A crew neck style sweater with our lovely loggerhead turtle, including a matching tote bag, hat. So we have this is actually a really cool magnet. I like this magnet. Let's talk a little bit about admission here into the aquarium. So general admission is 13 and above, $39.95. Children 3 to 12 are $34.95, and children 2 and under are free. There are various forms of membership you can get, from one adult from $89 all the way up to 2 adults, 4 children, and VIP guests for $4.99. Those are different levels. But let's talk a little bit more about the general admission, because that is the walk-up price, but there is a way for you to save more money. Now, when it comes to admissions, we talked about it there. The prices that is the walk-up prices the day of. If you say, let's go to aquarium, that's the price that you're going to be paying, the general admission day of prices. But if you plan ahead, you can save some money. So for example, you save $5, $34.95 for adult prices, $29.95 for the children prices, and of course children 2 and under are still free if you plan ahead and purchase your tickets online before you get here. Now, it can actually be the same day and you purchase them if it's available. There is time slots in which you're supposed to arrive to the aquarium and visit, so just do keep that in mind. If you purchase your ticket online and you miss your day and you end up coming the next day, they won't honor it, but they will allow you to credit the price of that admission towards a membership. But if you do buy a ticket online, it has to be for that particular day. If you miss your time slot window, they will let you go in, but they may have you wait until the next time slot is available, because they try to kind of keep the crowds to a certain level throughout the rest of the day, especially during busiest days. During some of the slow, dead parts of the year, they probably wouldn't really care, but during the busier times of the year, they may have some crowd control limitations there. Usually, the aquarium only takes about 2 to 3 hours really to go through it all. That's not including the keeper talks, that's not including the feedings, that's not including if you have children, let your kids play as long as they want in some of the interactive areas right there. The aquarium does take about 2 hours, so which is why they actually let you save $10 off admission if you come in the last 2 hours of the aquarium being open. So when it's open till 5 o'clock, if you arrive from 3 and onward, it's $10 cheaper for those last 2 hours of the day. Same for tonight, so it closing at 8, 6 o'clock and onward, it would be $10 cheaper on the walk-up admission price. But there are other ways to get discounts. For example, if you have the City Pass or the Go City San Diego Pass, which are a tourist ticket combination you can get online in some of the larger cities like New York, LA, Chicago, they usually have a way where you can bundle more attractions to save money that way. The aquarium is a part of that bundle. $6 off for UCSD students. Seniors and military do get $3 off admission prices on either the plan ahead or the walk-up pricing. And then of course the aquarium is part of the Museums for All program. For those who have EBT or SNAP benefits, it's $3 each person up to 4 guests on the same EBT SNAP card. So the museum itself is open every day through the year, normally 9 to 5. It does have certain hours. Right now with the summertime, it's usually open a little bit later, like today it's open till 8 o'clock at night, but that is during the summertime. The rest of the time is going to be 9 to 5. They are closed on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. Parking is free for 3 hours. There's a parking spot just right off over here for 3 hours. Truth be told, they really don't check if you're here for 3, 4, 5 hours, but no overnight parking obviously. But parking is rather limited, so you may want to carpool, think of Lyft, Uber. It can get pretty tight, especially on the holiday days. Busiest times to come are actually between the opening to about 2, 3 o'clock. That's going to be his peak hours. The last few hours of the day here at the aquarium, it tends to get a little bit lighter. There are also some tours you can get, behind the scenes tours on Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for $100. at 1:30, they do have a behind the scenes tour of the penguins that you can check out, learn a little husbandry there for an hour. And that tour does include admission to the aquarium, $115 for general public, $100 for members. And with that, that's going to do it here for our time here at the Birch Aquarium. Had a great time as always. Hope you did as well too watching the video. If you did, do me a big favor, give it a big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, you haven't done so already. And third, hit that notification bell. As always, follow me on social media at Big Great Journeys on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram for even more content. So for me to you, thank you. And I'll see you on the next journey. Hopefully, if this shark doesn't eat me first. Bye-bye.